Hello everyone and welcome to Campus Channel. I'm here with Grenoble École de Management, GEM, and we're going to be talking about the Advanced Masters in Biomedical Management. In order to talk about it, I have the pleasure to welcome the Program Director, Rima Shatila. She is here, you are here, Rima, to answer all of my questions, but first we're going to start with the pitch. The pitch basically is a minute, Rima, and you will have to tell me, I don't know, the main things we need to know about the Advanced Master. You were ready to start? Are you ready now?
I'm ready now.
Okay, we're listening.
Thank you, Guillaume. All right, our program is 100% given today in Paris. We're moving to Pantin starting next September. For next September intake, we'll be moving to a new campus, 6,000 square meters, huge, modern, and it's not far from Paris, 5 stations from Métro République. Our program is 100% in English. We are a generalist program. We teach finance, marketing, business development, negotiation, competitive intelligence, etc., etc. We're not specialized in one topic. We give the format in the program in 2 different formats, in part-time and full-time intake, and our candidates have diversified profile. They are pharmacists, engineers, PhD, MS in science and life science, or medical doctors.
All right, well, we're right within the time. Thank you very much, Rima. It was a very well done, very well timed pitch, and for the rest, it's the program. You started your pitch with it. It was a breaking news. Grenoble École de Management is moving to Paris. So how come you're moving to Paris? Why did you make that move? Why not stay in Grenoble? Why is that useful for students to know that?
Our master is taught today in Paris 14th, Métro Plaisance, and we are moving because we needed more space. We are expanding. All our master degrees are expanding in Paris, so we have double space. And we can teach more students actually, and we can expand. That's why we are mainly moving to expand.
All right. Has anything else changed within this master? I'm thinking of the name maybe as well.
Yes, the name has changed for the next intake in September. Why? The answer is commonly asked why. We're moving the name of we changed the name because we are evolving with the market in order to respond to the demand of the employers. So we include new courses like regulatory affairs, sales techniques and competences, for example, how to talk in public, a course about how to talk in public, etc. So we are improving the program to add more courses that fit more and more to the market.
All right, improving the program is also about innovation. I mean, you're innovating, and from my understanding, an innovative way of teaching with real-world innovative projects, that would be the pedagogy used. What is it exactly? Can you give me some example, please?
Yes. All right. In our master degree, we don't have a lot of exams. We have a lot of projects, so students learn how to manage their time, and mainly they have also a new way of learning, where what we call real case studies or innovative projects. What does it mean? It means they are a company, big companies, I'm not going to name them, but big pharma companies come to us with real projects and say, we have this issue, and can you resolve it? So it starts with technical comparison, then market analysis about that topic, competitors, they evaluate the market, and then they answer the made-for-measure questions. It could be, for example, about a cheese that is made not by milk. It could be about cancerology. It could be about a new medical device that is launched in France. A startup launched it in France and wants to launch it in the United States. What is the business plan? What is the strategy to go to launch quickly in the United States, etc., etc. So it's really diversified. Majority of projects are, of course, confidential, but there are real case studies, and our students work as a consultant, as a real consultant for the companies who make meetings with the companies and with their tutor, so that they advance on the project and they reply to the real demand of the company. All
right, so they will be learning right in the middle of the action with like real problematics, and that's really like I would say the perfect pictures of learning by doing in some ways, because you're going to be confronting what you're learning with what companies are experiencing. Part-time options or full-time options, what's the difference? Why would you have part-time and full-time?
We have what we call part-time program, is a work-study program, contrat d'apprentissage, which means students come to our school 1 week and they go and work in the company for 3 weeks. This program starts in September and it goes for 15 months. So they are apprentice students and they learn in the company and they learn the theory in our program, and they go and apply it in the company. We see, by the way, the evolution of the students from the beginning to the end. It's really amazing. The full-time program is a program where candidates come from all over the world, and they are students for 7 months. So they start in September, for example, 23, and they finish in end of March 2024. In order to have the same master degree than the other students, they must do an internship that should last 4 to 6 months in a company of biotech or medical device or pharma company.
All right, so we will talk about these international students and how like the full-time options allows you to have international exposure as well. What is biomedical management? You mentioned like big pharma's company. What is it and how is it different from any other kind of management?
Okay, this is a very good question. Thank you. Our master degree is like an MBA specialized in pharma and biotech and medical device companies. So all our courses, whether they are marketing, they are finance, or they are project management, they are taught with real cases or study cases about the specific market of medical device, pharma, or biotech.
All right, but how is it different? How does it differ? I mean, like, why is a biomedical management, what is specific to the biomedical management? Why is it different from any other kind of management? Maybe the next questions could help you, because like, during the admission process, how do you make sure your students have real values and are not just going into this masters with greedy ambitions? It's about biomedical. You have like ethics, you have strong values if you want to work in those specific areas. How do you make sure that your students have real values and not just like wants to make money, basically?
Our students are scientists, actually. They come from the science world. They are either pharmacists. We have 58% of pharmacists, around 15% this year of engineer. They come also from life science, masters of life science, 22%, and the rest are medical doctors or PhDs. They have PhDs in biology or in science anyway. So we don't teach science actually in our program. We teach more management for people coming from science. So it's more oriented to students or candidates who want to get out of the research, for example, or the scientific side, but stay in the same industry and have jobs in management, like marketing, finance, project management, or business development. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Thank you very much. Thank you. It wasn't an easy question, so thank you for that. And also now that we've known a little bit more of the program, I believe it's time to move on to the clichés. The clichés are about preconceptions. Like my last question is like, do you have to have strong values and ethics in order to work in biomedical environments, or are you going to just go greedy for money? Basically, those were just clichés, and we debunked them. Do you see any other cliché regarding your advanced master regarding biomedical management? Do you see any other cliché that comes to your mind?
One of the common clichés are we only have pharmacist students actually. which is completely wrong. We have medical doctors, we have PhDs, we have masters in cancerology, or masters in biology, or masters in life science in general. We have engineers, and but it is true that it is the percentage change every year. It's 55 to 58 this year, for example, that they are pharmacists, but not 100%.
And how do you make them work all together then? Because they have so many different backgrounds. How do you have like conceptualize courses for all of them that would suit all of them?
As our courses are oriented toward pharma, biotech, or medical devices, the fact that we don't have a lot of exams, but they work in projects of 3 or 4 sometimes, the pharmacist will have value added to the engineer that will bring value added to the PhD. So everyone will help that's why they evolve, by the way. That's why they learn from each other also, not only from the course and from, they have different ways of thinking, and that's how the final work at the end is great.
All right, so a message of hope. People can work together and help each other and complete each other's differences. So that was the cliché. Basically, you don't need to be a pharmacist if you want to apply. When it comes to the the full-time program, you mentioned international students. Let's see who they are through studying abroad. So Rima, what's the mix between international and French students in the classroom? How much international students do you have versus French students?
If I take the global, all students together, full-time and part-time classes, we have 64% of French students and 36% of international students. But let me go deeper inside the full-time program, for example. The full-time program, this year, we have 80% of international students, 20% of French, and in the part-time, we have the reverse, 80% of French and 20% of international students. The mix altogether gives 36% of international students.
All right, so that is very attractive. I mean, 80% is a lot of international students when it comes to the full-time program. And why study biomedical in France? Like, how is it relevant for an international students or French students to work and to study in France and especially at GEM?
We have a lot of demand, by the way. We have been ranked #1 by Eduniversal. And we are #6 this year. So we have been #1 for the 4th consecutive year. So we have a lot of demand, Guillaume. You can't imagine. People come from all over the countries. They come from Morocco, they come from Algeria, they come from Tunisia, they come from Lebanon, they come from Italy, they come from Colombia, they come from China, they come from the United States. Some students resign from their work and come to learn management in our training, and we have some demand this year from India, and people are learning French and they want to come. I think the main reason is we've been #1 for 4 consecutive years now, and last year we had 50% more demand applications for entering our program, and we are starting now to be well known. So the program exists now for more than 20 years. Last year we made a great big fiesta for the 20 years, and we've been existing now for 20 years. We're known. We are 100% in English, Guillaume. So people who comes from India, from Colombia, everywhere, they learn in English, and they take the time to integrate if they want to learn the language in France, so they stay in France. But otherwise, for those who don't speak the language, they go and work in Netherlands or Belgium or England. There are a lot of jobs there.
All right, so there was a big party last year. Hopefully for the 21st year, there will be another big party. You mentioned it was #1. You don't get #1 like just like that. It doesn't happen randomly. What is the amount of work required to pass this master's degree?
We have a lot of work. When the first day they arrive, we tell them this is not Club Med. We have a lot of work. But just to explain that if they think they're going to work and at the last minute, they are wrong. They won't succeed. we have a lot of work, something like 15 to 20 hours of personal work per week, which means they go and work in the company and still they have projects to submit for GEM all over the year. It depends, of course, on the year, but they have a lot of work to do.
Okay, and now they know it's not Club Med. It's a big party just for the 20th year, and then you work for the rest of the year. I know you're the director, but maybe you could still answer that question. You have part-time students, you have full-time students. They have different schedules, different, I would say, way of living. How's the atmosphere in the class? Are the students getting along still? Are all the students getting along?
This is a very good question. We make afterworks every month or almost. We have taken back the good habits after the COVID. So yes, they cope together. They go and meet all together once a month, and they help each other. By the way, for example, we have seen students this year from the full-time class asking advices to the part-time students for applying for an internship in the same company where the other student is working there. So they cope together, they meet, and that's how.
All right, so you're able to have a student life. And do you need to speak French in order to have a student life at GEM? Or, I mean, or are all the GEM students international enough, English enough? Because I know that for the biomedical courses, it's 100% in English, but GEM is a French school, so are the international students well integrated as well?
Yes, we have a lot. The international students are well integrated. We have different associations in Paris. We have 5 associations. Last 2 weeks ago, I think, one of the associations, BD Sport, they were running in Paris for the September intake. Usually, in September, the Aloha Association prepare an event in Paris, so that they can learn. Sometimes it's bateau mouche, sometimes it's going to visit a museum, etc., so that they integrate with other students. And we have a lot of other associations like the Art, Zo Art, I think it's the name exactly, and they can go to a museum all together, etc. We also have French language for the full-time students, for international students who don't speak the language. They have the possibility to learn French, because of course, as you know, Guillaume, the best integration in a country is to learn the language.
That's very true. They will learn grenouille, escargot and baguettes, and that's going to be very useful if you want to order good food in a restaurant. And the last questions before we move on to Who Am I? What are the soft skills of the teacher in this master?
All right, this is a good question. The soft skills of a teacher are first, listening. Second, having an experience and be capable of passing his experience, transmitting actually his experiences through the exercises, listening, making them motivated to work, explain why the project is interesting, what it will bring to them, and of course, create teamwork strategy in the class.
All right, so for those who listen, that's what you're going to be having if you're attending those courses. We've been talking a lot for now. It's been almost 20 minutes, and I believe a picture speaks more than 1,000 words, so let's move on to Who Am I? A difficult Who Am I today for you, Rima. So basically 3 people, 3 personalities. I will introduce you to them, tell you who they are, and you will tell me which one, according to you, stands the most for the Advanced Master in Biomedical Management. Okay, so first thing first, let's see the 3 people I will introduce you to. So the first one. The first one is Walter White, the one with the glasses, all right? He's into biomedical, if you know him. He's into management. He's into supply and demand. Well, he's got a dark side because it's about, like, I would say cartel money. It's not like, it's a bit heavy, but if you think of the qualities of him, not his dark side, but the good side, his improvement, his humanity, he's fighting for his family in some way. So that could be him. It made me think of this Advanced Master. The one in the middle, he's called Baymax. Baymax, he's a healthcare robot. He is here to provide medical assistance, care to people in need. He has a unique personality because he's gentle, caring and nurturing, and he's programmed to prioritize the well-being of others and is always ready to help those in need. So we're thinking maybe that's what your students are going to be about, because they're working in the biomedical management, so they will have to take care of others through their management, for example. And the one in the middle, the one on the very right, sorry, he's Dr. House. Again, a more controversial personality. He's brilliant but difficult. He's a bit cynical, but he's really like clever, and he knows everything at the minute whenever he does. And even if he's a bit, I would say, not a very good teammate, he's got other qualities, and in the end, he always ends up helping others. So 3 personalities, which one, according to you, would be the most suited for your advanced master?
Maybe I will choose Walter, the first one at the beginning, because I was hesitating between the robot and Walter. I'll tell you why. Robot is gentle, help other and take care of the other people, and I think this is maybe the role of management in biotech. But I don't want to compare maybe our students to robots. So I'll choose Walter because he's working for humanity. He's fighting for. I think all our students are fighting for humanity. They have ideals in their heads, etc. And they come and join a company that where they share the same values and they want to change the world, etc. And they're fighting for a better world, etc. I'll choose the first one.
All right, thank you, Rima. The torture is over, and let's move on to after. How do you help your students find a job once they've graduated? How do you keep contact with them? If you create a CV, if you help them with motivation, with cover letters, how do you help them integrate this health industry world?
We have created last year a course about how to create the CV and how to apply and how to do the interview, what's important in the interview, etc. We teach them how to be ready to do their CVs. I'm talking about international students because French has no problem with that, and how to do the interviews. We have at Grenoble a website, GEM Careers, where they have offers. Sometimes the offers are 100% exclusive for us. Companies know how we teach, what we teach, and they want candidates from alumni from our program. But there are a lot of jobs also in the market, and we keep in touch, of course, with them, but they are trained to go ahead. Sometimes students find, for your information, for example, last week I had an email, one of the students has a proposal to go to work in the United States, and he's asking me if he can finish the program earlier. The answer was no, you need to finish the program and then go after that. Please wait. So they are already searching and having proposals right now. While they didn't finish, they will finish in December. All
right, so you will even have a job before you graduated. That's how good it is. And you mentioned alumni, you mentioned all students. Is there a proper help between all the students? Because you mentioned GEM Career, the website, everything, but are the students helping each other? Like, do they belong to the alumni network? You know, everybody's talking about their network. So how is the GEM network?
We have a GEM alumni that is very active. We have a biotech alumni. I would say yes and no, we are active and not active. Our alumni actually come to us and bring propose internships. This year I had a lot of internships proposed to the full-time class by our alumni. Others propose innovative projects where they are working on a project and they need our help as a consultant. So they propose innovative projects. Some of them, they are called after having some years of experience, 5 years on average. We call them back. We want to keep the contact actually with our students, and we ask them to come back and work as a tutor for their professional thesis. For information, we don't only have courses. When they finish their courses, they also have professional thesis to write in order to graduate. And some of the tutors are already from our biotech alumni.
All right, and last questions before we move on to extra time. What makes you a good program director for this advanced master?
I think a good program director is a program director that listens to his students, that is not rigid, that can adapt to the situation and learn from the mistakes we've done earlier. So if I make a mistake, I learn, I evolve. I think a good program director must listen well to the professors, to the students, and make a good combination of a program that fits the students, but also the professors. But for your information, a lot of our professors come from outside of France, international. They are international. So I think it's a combination of listening, working hard to always stay number one. We are number one, so the level is high, and we must evolve quickly. We must adapt quickly, and inventive. Sometimes find solutions to our problems that has never existed. I think with the COVID and all the strikes that are today here, we must be adaptable and find solutions that fits everybody.
Thank you, Rima, for answering all my questions. Time flies. I believe it's time for extra time. Extra time is about the conclusion, about the things that you want to say. Maybe one last thing we haven't mentioned yet, and you want to make sure that we hear it, or maybe you want to emphasize on something that we've said already, or maybe you have another way of concluding. I will let you do it. We're listening to you.
If you are a scientist, you have a background in science, and you want to move to the management side, but stay in the same industry, in the biomedical one, like biotech, medical device, and pharma industry, then you've got here the best program that exists, as we are number one for 4 years now. And we have two different formats. Full-time formats corresponds 100% for students who are coming from abroad and who want compact study 7 months at GEM as a student, and then go and work as do an internship in company. Or you are a French student or international students in France, and you want to work, you have some experience as a work study in a company, then you can do the part-time program.
All right. Thank you, Rima. Thank you for answering all my questions, all the torture today. Really hard. Who am I? Really hard. What makes you a good program director? Questions. If you're looking, in a word, in a nutshell, if you're looking for the best biomedical management advanced masters, it is at Grenoble École de Management GEM. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon.